Hi YouTube, I hope you're all doing good. I'm having an okay day, not too bad. The sun's shining, that's always a plus. Not sure what's going on today as far as what I'm talking about. I just um making some heavy decisions in my life of who I want around me and who I don't, and why I wouldn't want even like family members that lack the respect that I require for myself in my life. That's a big deal to me. So, um, yeah, that's I'm kind of that I'm like that with everybody I know, but it used to not include my kids, but now it does because they're men. They've been adult men for um, over 20 years now, and I see it like this: they need to be around the type of people that they respect because I require more than what has ever been shown to me. Um, I won't say entirely out of my oldest one, even when I had him leave the last time he was here. We talked the next day and he did apologize. He knew that treating me low wasn't the way to go, you know. But my thoughts on that are a lot of the past years he has been hanging around with the drug scene and the homeless, and he hasn't been in prison, but a lot of people that have been in jail or prison or whatever, their demeanor isn't the softest, and that's not even always a bad thing, but people's hearts are waxing cold on this planet. And when you can take somebody with as sweet of a heart as I've got and treat me cold, that tells me that even emotionally, let alone physically, my whole self is not safe. My emotional care, my the calm, the peace that I require in my life, all of it's in jeopardy. I would be putting my life in another person's hands by even letting them around me. And that's where I'm at with all that. So that's what's going on today in my world. Don't you just love that? You can say that too. So yeah, I was looking for drop ceiling tiles, waterproof ones online, and I think we've got the ones that we're gonna pick that we're gonna do. So that monopolized quite a bit of my time this morning. So because I don't want any junk and I don't want it to be too spendy, just kind of in between, but it's got to be quality material, you know. And and with that, doing the work ourselves and not having to hire a contractor, that's always better because we can do the work ourselves. So, but I saw some you could just about cut it with a butter knife. From what it looked, it said you could use a utility knife to cut it. And then there was some people underneath with their reviews, and they were saying it's like styrofoam. I don't really want that, not in the bathroom anyway. I don't want that, period. You know, it's got to be something like is stuff that's made out of like PVC that's hard. Like if you know what that Nordic flooring and that type of stuff is, it's made like that. One time I went in, I was looking at flooring. This was quite some years ago when they first came out with that Nordic wear tile. And the guy had a hammer there. And it showed on the commercial that you could take a hammer and not dent this new Nordic ware tile because you could drop a pan on it and you could move your table set or whatever without scratching it. And I picked up the hammer and he saw my bicep. I said, are you sure you want me to smack this with that hammer? And he said, probably not. I said, that's what I thought. So that kind of told me all I needed to know about that flooring and their claims on that. I mean, it showed a guy on the commercial. He was going like this, not bam, It's a whole lot of difference if you're going to sink a nail. I think that's what I told him. Do you want me just to set the nail or sink it? So anyway, yeah, little obnoxious. But the guy who owned the flooring store in town was, I had bought some remnants of carpeting before from him. So when I went in looking at flooring, he was thinking that I didn't have the money to spend and that I was just, I don't know what he thought, like I was just wasting my time or what. But I decided not to buy any flooring from the guy because he treated me like a pauper. And I thought, well, then you need to sell your expensive tiles to somebody else that appears not to be a pauper. They could just go charge it and drive up in their nice shiny new truck and get treated better for being in debt to the bank, but I owe nobody nothing. And who's the pauper? It's like whatever. So that type of people, that's what I'm kind of battling against today is the persona in life of who actually is set in life, who's stable minded, and whose heart is rich and whose is not. Just thinking about stuff. So, yeah. But yeah, I think we, like I said, got something picked out that will be durable and washable and waterproof and all that stuff. So, yeah. Yeah, the work isn't going to be too nice, but when it's done, it's going to be pretty. Like I said, I'll show you. I don't want to show you the whole bathroom the way it looks right now. Just trust me, it's ratty. And when I'm done, it's going to look like a showroom room that could be shown for home interior design. So, but not now. Well, it's like, I think, what is it, 50 or 60 years old? Let me see. Let me figure this out. Um, yeah, it's over 50 years old. So, of wear and tear. So, yeah. The only thing that is funky, I always thought was funky, is the olive green bathtub. That's really hard to make stuff work. It looks good with woodwork, and that's what we've got in there right now is paneling and that. But I want to go to more like a tile motif type of thing and brighten it up in there. So, like maybe like a marble looking type of stuff. Maybe not so much on the ceiling, although Doug was looking at that for like the walls. And so if he goes with like the marble on the walls, I didn't pick out one in particular that I liked, although I do like one, and it was called Mother of Pearl. Um, marble motif with gold, kind of gold in it. So it's sort of like an off white with looks like marble, and that would be good on the walls or the floor, but not the ceiling. So if he goes with the walls like something like that, I'll have to go with the floor of something plain, and the same with the ceiling. So we'll just, I want him to pick it out, and then I'll take what he picks and add to it and make it look okay. So, but yeah, back in the 60s and 70s, they had these, everything was like lime green and peach and gold and olive green and just some really, I don't know. I don't know. People were painting, like, I'm not really big on it, but like painting their walls salmon color, like in our kitchen. My mom painted her walls salmon. Uh, Whatever. You know, I maybe in a bathroom or in a girl's room, but the whole kitchen. Before that, it was sort of like a light mint green, what almost white in appearance with just a hue, and that's almost like what we've got in our living room on the ceiling. It's a very very light green with the woodwork. You can't even tell that it looks more off white, but it's got a green hue to it. So, and that's kind of pretty. But yeah, I just don't want anything too bodacious, or audacious, if that's a word. I think audacious. I know bodacious is, but how about godacious? That is not a word, but we can make it one. you know, Around here we make up our own words. When in fact we make up our own rules too, except that they always fall within the rules of God, in this house. And I'll go on to say, like, honor your mother and father. I do for putting me here. I don't like them. I don't respect them. I don't bother them. I walked out of their life and I didn't look back. And so that's what I expect. If somebody doesn't respect me the way I require, just keep walking, you know. There's no reason to look back, you know. And if you can, don't look back in anger, but just keep going and don't look back, you know. I don't even mind helping anybody, and I would never make a person beg. But when a person is forceful and telling me what I'm going to do, and instead of asking, or even now, if somebody asked me, I'd be like, no, not even close. The several times that I've helped people in the past and didn't have the respect I required, it's like, not even, not even. No, no, thank you. Nothing benefits me except for upsets, loud people, people that have been known to be violent and rude and crude and ungodly, and no thank you. Yuck. You know. Yeah. Anyway, I'm pretty happy I got some spoons in the mail today. You'd think, oh, spoons, yeah. Soup spoons that I've always wanted. They're like heavy duty and just super cool, and you know, that's a big deal to me. to have a few things in my life. Like I've always wanted, I have ones that I use for my kids. Um, that used to be mine. One was mine and one was the dad's. And I just let my older son and my younger son use the soup spoons, but they weren't a matching set, kind of like our marriage. So, bad joke, but it's true, you know. But these ones I got are just like super cool. They're heavy duty. They're um, super polished stainless steel, but they're just incredible. Yeah, so 6 of them. And I couldn't find ones that I liked that match my silverware either, but they're just sort of straight, so they'll go with it. But I don't care because they're the ones I wanted. So anyway, if when you go to have like a bowl of chili or um, chicken noodle soup or something like that, or even a bowl of cereal, you know, so you don't have like milk like slopping all over your face. I used to just always like a little spoon, but now maybe it's because I'm getting older. I don't know. I don't have to go so many times to the bowl. You can just no, it is less messy, you know. I bet you didn't think you'd come on here and I'd be talking about soup spoons, right? What next? I don't know. Want to see my slippers? Oh, just a minute. Aren't those pretty? I've been getting a few nice things for myself that, I mean, I have fuzzy ones too, but those are for, I have like a pair of, well, they're black floral pajamas with pink roses on them and some other pretty stuff that Doug bought me. So, yeah, and it's about time. So, yeah, I love them. They are so comfortable. And the thing is, they have a structure like, and with the memory foam in there. But with my broken toe, they're more of like a shoe than they are a slipper, you know. So, in fact, the other night when my legs were cramping, I was telling you about that. I slipped my feet in there, and usually when I put my slippers on, and I'll put an aspirin under my tongue because that'll start taking. You can do that for heart palpitations too. If you put it on the left side of your mouth under your tongue, and it will go to your brain quicker. So I had I was in such pain. I put aspirins in my mouth, but one stuck to the roof of my mouth, and I couldn't get the other one under my tongue. I'm in pain, so I stood up and I held on to my desk and I stood there for a while. But I had them shoes on, and just that shoe holding my toe in place put the pressure on where I needed it, and my cramps started subsiding almost immediately. So it was the structure of the shoe that helped, because sometimes it feels like my whole foot is trying to go backwards or almost like inside out. I have no clue what's going on, but I do know it's probably has a lot to do. Well, see, my allergies, and I had eaten two things with paprika on it. It was a roast turkey sandwich, but I put um, Munster cheese on it, which has the coating of the paprika around it. It used to have wax around it back in the days. But so it was a good sandwich, but it almost killed me. So, yeah. Yeah, I guess if somebody wants to torture me, they could always feed me something horrible. That'd work. It has in the past. Yeah. I didn't know I was allergic to peas when I was a kid. I just knew out of the can. I'm allergic to canned goods and I'm allergic to peas, all legumes and beans. But I sat in front of a bowl of peas, a little tiny bowl of peas, for over 2 hours. I was happy because I got out of doing my homework, but I missed watching The Wizard of Oz, so it was kind of like a win lose situation in the whole thing because then I had to catch up on my homework too. So, yeah, I think I did do that right before I went to school. It wasn't that hard, and I was pretty young, but that was my favorite show. At that time, I had a little dog named Tiny. It was a rat terrier and a wired haired terrier, rather. And then when I was 15, I had one I named Toto that looked just like Toto, and it was a rat terrier. So they're good little dogs. They're so smart. I think somebody murdered my first dog, but yeah, I've had several animals in my life that I know people were involved in harming them just to try and torture me. That's some weird stuff, isn't it? It's true though. You know, I'll never understand people's cruel ways in this world and how they can do things like that and not even think about it or not, yeah, or why they would think to do something horrible like that in the first place. I don't know, but they do. It happens every day. I'm going to tell you about something weird that Doug experienced about 2 years ago now. He was on his way to another town and he turned around, turned a corner to see a couple kids with skateboards and stuff. And they had taken balloons and tied it to a dead carcass of some animal. I can't remember what it was, like a fox or something like that. And Doug said he saw something he'd never thought he'd see, a dead, squished animal floating through the air with balloons tied to it. That's morbidly sick. I don't know what was going on with these delinquents, but something weird, you know. He come home and told me that, and I thought, what? You know, one of them, what did you just say you saw? That can't be real. That's what he was thinking when he saw it, too. It's like, is this real? You know? Well, how would that be? You turn the corner, you're driving your car, and you turn onto another highway, and you see a floating carcass of an animal tied to balloons. You know, it's like, wow, that's radical. But then I know of seen one kid. I don't know if he got prosecuted for it or what, but he lit a cat on fire, poured gas on it. I guess from what I understand, my ex did that too. He put a cat in the burn barrel and put a lid on it. Yeah. weird people. I'm glad my cats are safe. I don't even really have a cat. I call my kitty God's cat because I saved her from dying. She was all broken up, and I brought her in. And Doug's cat too. He was from a feral cat that was pregnant all the time, and we would find homes for those kitties continuously. Now there's offsprings of theirs out there, or rather the first ones, and those are who I take care of out there every day. I get up, and in winter it doesn't matter, and they have heated water and beds and, places to sleep in their own kitty house that I made them. So I think they have it better than a lot of people do. I saw homeless people living in tents in the wintertime and putting blankets over the top of the tents and like pieces of wood against the side just to keep the wind and that type of stuff out of there. That's pretty horrible. I still say with these bigger cities where people are homeless and hanging on the street and they're all drugged out and everything, and we should have medical facilities and wall tent hospitals or places for them to stay and be cared for by people. If we can have wars, we can take care of struggling people on this planet. And people like my son that may not be welcome here, but would still have a chance to make it out there, you know. So, at least that much love and respect for another human being, you know. So, yeah. But yeah, I've made up my mind I can't have somebody around me that doesn't consider my every feeling in my home at every moment. I can't do it, you know. Because I've had people under the guise of even goofing around with me, like grab me or whatever. I can't be manhandled and I can't be yelled at and put down and all that nonsense that people with no um, let me see, how would I word this, with no, I could say with no self-respect, but I think even monsters respect themselves because that's what they love about it. Or like a bully, they that's what they respect about themselves. That's what they see as valuable in other human beings, you know. So, but anyway, yeah, it was a hard decision, but I've made it and I'm standing on it. Yeah. I can put it in God's hands and ask God to help. That's all I can do, you know. Yeah. Even without, like, if Doug wasn't in my life, that would make it all the more where I wouldn't want to be around anybody that would take advantage of me or hurt me in any way, even with their words, you know. That would make me even more seclusive. But, or even if I wanted to see my kid, which I do want to see him, I just don't want to be around him, if that makes sense. It's like, he's not the man that I raised him to be, and he knows that full well, and he's pretending that that isn't true of me and how I raised him, and that's intolerable to me, you know. So that's about it for today. Um, I hope your week ahead is wonderful, and if you're struggling with family members like I am, my prayers go out to you and all of them too. The world's really chaotic. It's not a very, very pretty thing to have to deal with. So, all right, everybody, I appreciate you joining me. Have a really beautiful night or day wherever you're at. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA.